Hi, I'm Loni Anderson, and I'd like to welcome you to Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area, where fun in America's great outdoors never ends. 600 miles upstream from the Grand Canyon, the Green River sweeps out of Wyoming to attack the high Uinta Mountains. Explorer John Wesley Powell stood in awe and called the place Flaming Gorge. Just the names stir the blood. Lone Tree, Burnt Fork, Firehole Canyon, Devil's Raceway. It's a country of contrasts, adventures, and variety, where you can come and stay again and again. 1,000 years ago, the Fremont Indians hunted the area, leaving behind their ancient artworks. Then came the Comanches, Shoshones, and Utes. It was a place of the mountain men. In 1825, William Ashley's party dared the unknown river in simple hide bullboats. They retreated to nearby Henry's Fork, where they molded history with the first mountain man rendezvous. Until the price of beaver pelts collapsed in 1840, explorers like Jedediah Smith, Jim Bridger, and Bill Sublette met annually to trade and celebrate. Their spirits are still with us. If you don't believe it, visit Spirit Lake in the Ashley National Forest or Fort Bridger come Labor Day. After the mountain men came a handful of ranchers willing to challenge the harsh country, and even Butch Cassidy's outlaw Wild Bunch sought hideout here. Then in 1964, 7 years of construction was completed that changed the country forever. Flaming Gorge Dam created a 91-mile lake in these remote mountain and desert wildlands. It brought entirely new kinds of human activity, spawned a new town, and opened this dramatic country to those seeking escape from the crowded cities. It cleared the water, too. The Green River at last is green. Recreation values were so high that Congress created the Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area and entrusted its management to the U.S. Forest Service. There's so much to see and do, it's hard to know where to begin. Fishing that would have impressed even the mountain men. Campgrounds, wildlife, action water sports, photography, geology, exhibits, backcountry packing. With its scenic drives, nature walks, overlooks, and visitor centers, Flaming Gorge is magnificent. Forest Service Management also provides primitive forest camping, hunting, and limited off-highway vehicle use as part of a multiple-use concept that puts a primary emphasis on recreation year-round. For those who choose, the comforts of civilization make life easy at Flaming Gorge. You can spend the day on a whitewater river or in mountain backcountry and still sleep between sheets and dine on tablecloths at one of the lodges. Dutch John and Manila even have airstrips. Thanks to local business, Flaming Gorge Reservoir has RV facilities, boat rentals, more than a dozen outfitters for fishing and hunting, houseboats, and full-service marinas. And yet most of the National Recreation Area and National Forest remains wild, a place to escape. The Forest Service provides campsites, boat ramps, and picnic areas. Several campgrounds located on the reservoir and accessible only by boat provide unique experiences for boating enthusiasts. Near the dam, the forest setting is like a mountain lake, while the northern section opens to wide desert vistas that invite shoreline camping. Campgrounds are sprinkled between junipers and pinyon pines near the lake and at higher elevation among ponderosa and lodgepole forests. A recent shift in natural habitat has created more spacious meadows where increased deer, elk, and moose herds can be viewed. Camping is not confined to campgrounds if you pack out your trash and are careful with fire. Or you might live out of a backpack on more than 100 miles of trails that lace the canyons and forests around Flaming Gorge. At Flaming Gorge, you choose your lifestyle. Fishing in the lake is world-class. Perhaps inspired by the broad desert in places like Lucerne Valley, lake trout grow as big as the country. Few weeks go by in the summer without 20 or 30 pounders yielding to the lure. For inspiration, visit the 51-pound lake trout, third largest in the world when caught, on display at the Flaming Gorge Lodge. His big brother is down there right now, hovering off the bottom. A 33-pound German brown once held the world record, and a strain of especially large rainbow trout produces its share of fish in the 20-pound class, the stuff of which legends are made. Fishing is open year-round, and ice fishing is fast becoming a staple of winter recreation. It's a little-known secret that crafty browns let their guard down at about the time winter ice is melting. The monster lake trout bite all year long, even under the ice, and rainbows in May through October. The broad rolling terrain is especially attractive to cross-country skiers, and outside the wilderness, some trails are open to snowmobiles. Snow fun is part of the year-round recreation at Flaming Gorge. If you get tired of trophies and want early summer action, try kokanee salmon, cutthroat trout, smallmouth bass, or channel catfish. Add a stamp to your Wyoming or Utah fishing license, and both states will honor it on the lake. The Green River below Flaming Gorge Dam has matured into one of the finest trout streams in all North America. This is no accident. The Bureau of Reclamation maintains the river water temperature in the 50s as much of the year as possible. Special shutter gates withdraw water from the right depth in the reservoir for the desired temperature. It's perfect for the larval forms of caddisflies, mayflies, freshwater shrimp, and other bottom-dwelling invertebrates that make up most of the trout food supply. Cooperative management efforts and sound biological research by the Utah Division of Wildlife Resources has paid off. Schools of big trout wait in the cool, green water to be caught, often more than once. Fly fishing enthusiasts take pride in their barbless hooks and won't keep any trout. Trophies live to a ripe old age on the Green River. You can fish the green below the dam, hike the 7-mile river trail, or float to Little Hole. The white water's open to rafts, kayaks, and other non-motorized craft, offering adventure and spectacular wild scenery. Canoes must contain secured flotation, and rafts or tubes are safest with at least 3 chambers. While float permits are not necessary, life jackets are required at all times on the water. A Utah fishing license will allow anglers to have fun on the river. After arranging for a 70-mile vehicle shuttle, many visitors also enjoy floating the full 15-mile river stretch, including the lower portion to Browns Park. Here the fishing is also great and camping is permitted. Takeouts can be arranged at Indian Crossing or Taylor Flats in historic Browns Park. Maybe some family members would like to go sightseeing or do some photography while others go after trophies. Flaming Gorge is the right place. Exhibits in the visitor center at the dam tell the impressive history of the area and the role the reservoir plays in the water system of the West. A tour of the dam reveals the workings of a major hydropower plant. At Red Canyon, experience the breathtaking overlook almost 1,400 feet above the water. Exhibits display the enormous variety of animals, plants, and geology in the area. The Forest Service brings the country to life with slideshows and speakers who interpret the natural history in its home setting. Helping people understand the value of conservation is part of the Forest Service job. To see the country as the eagles do, visit the Uinta Mountain Fire Lookout. A National Historic Site, the tower has been active for more than 50 years. Today, it also gives visitors a glimpse of the lonely but scenic life of the fire watcher. And for a touch of pioneer history, visit the Oscar Sweat Ranch, a restored homestead from the early 1900s. Journey back through 600 million years as the Sheep Creek Canyon Auto Tour spreads geological time before you like the pages of a giant book. Follow the Wheels of Time geology brochure available at visitor centers and the signposts that mark points of interest along the way. You'll find formations like the Madison Limestone and Moenkopi Sandstone that give us clues as to what the world was like both before and during the dinosaur ages. Witness here the actual fault line created when powerful global forces bent the Earth's crust and gave birth to today's Uinta Mountains. Travelers en route between Dinosaur National Monument and Yellowstone Park can enjoy Flaming Gorge on the way without missing a beat. Be sure to include the Historic Museum at Fort Bridger, a major trading post for early wagon trains. Highways 44 and 191 through the recreation area have been declared one of America's national scenic byways. Cross-country travelers on Interstate 80 will find the Flaming Gorge Loop a refreshing side trip. The varied habitats of Flaming Gorge make it a paradise for wildlife lovers. Sometimes pronghorn antelope blissfully share campgrounds with campers. Mule deer can be seen almost anywhere, while elk and moose are often visible in the early morning. If you're lucky, you might see Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep that have been reintroduced to the area. Or as another special treat, the river otters that Utah Division of Wildlife Resources has restored to the Green River. A stirring sight in the morning light are the osprey and eagles that fish the streams, or the red-tailed hawks and peregrine falcons soaring on the wind. Even if you're not into fishing, you'll love watching the August spawning run of kokanee salmon in Sheep Creek. The wildlife, sparkling waters, and desert cliffs sweeping to alpine mountains make Flaming Gorge a dream area for serious photographers, as well as those who want great snapshots for the folks back home. At the doorstep of Flaming Gorge is the high Uinta's Wilderness, formerly one of America's original protected primitive areas. A backbone of peaks tower above timberline to 13,000 feet. The high plateau yields adventures to hikers without drastic elevation change. For backpackers or those with horses, the high Uintas offer hundreds of miles of trails amid mountain peaks and clear lakes, with cutthroat and brook trout. Evening temperatures can bring a refreshing frost, even in midsummer. Day hikes from nearby Spirit Lake Lodge or Hoop Lake give a feel of this dramatic country. But be prepared for the thin air at 10,000 feet. At lake level, summer temperatures are in the mid-80s. Boaters glide over 91 miles of channels and bays from the desert buttes of Firehole Canyon through the red cliffs that gave the lake its name to the Uinta Mountains. Long channels with nearly 350 miles of shoreline provide a kind of backcountry boat exploring rarely found elsewhere. Scuba divers and snorkelers seek out the clear waters of the river and lake. For those who prefer to ride the Wyoming winds, sailboats are becoming a popular sight on the lake. And windsurfers, the fastest sail on the water, have discovered Flaming Gorge. Perhaps the most important message of all is that Flaming Gorge is a place for families. The scenery, facilities, history, and opportunities for learning and recreating make it a place to stay and to love. The image of an osprey on the wind, or the flaming cliffs at sunset, or catching and releasing a trophy trout are memories that will fill your soul for your entire life. Come on, experience Flaming Gorge.